Michael Vick in the studio with us right now on the Ryan Cameron Show. And you know what? When we talk about your effect on the city and how people feel about you, a lot of people are angry, and you know that, because being the face of a franchise, and they were calling you Black Superman, and I'm sure you knew that. Yeah. You know, where at any moment you could change the game in our favor, and people feel like not only were they let down, but it was just disappointing.
Right.
What do you say to people who are sitting here in the barbershops right now? They driving the delivery trucks, and they listen to this interview, and they still pissed.
I mean, I understand the disappointment, because I still feel it. I still feel the pain. I still feel the hurt. And, you know, I never wanted to leave the city. You know, I should have, you know, reacted in a different way. I should have used better judgment. And I can only blame myself for what happened. And, you know, I understand that people are upset, you know, and disgruntled, because, you know, it's good reason, you know, and, you know, it hurts me that I disappointed the entire city. It hurts me now that I had, you know, a whole city behind me that believed in me, and an organization that believed in me. And, you know, I was involved in pointless activity and something that I never should have been a part of. And, you know, to use the excuse that it was part of our culture is not an excuse. You know, so being in the position that I was in, you know, I was supposed to take full advantage of it. So, you know, I totally understand why people are, you know, are upset and disappointed, because it's not a day that goes by that I think about the time that I spent here, you know, the opportunities that I had, and the advice that I was given when I was here, and, you know, the fact that I didn't use that correctly.
When people talk about your experience and what you've gone through, it's a debate on why Michael Vick was sent to prison. People have said that when Arthur Blank asked you about dogfighting, if you would have been truthful, and when Roger Goodell asked you about dogfighting, if you had been truthful, we would not be having this conversation now, because there are other people in the league that have done things that are, people say, pale in comparison to what you were convicted of. Did Michael Vick go to prison for being dishonest to the people that control this mighty shield that generates billions of dollars, and you were the face of the franchise, or did you go to prison for your action?
It was a little bit of everything, you know. And one thing I learned, you know, throughout the last 2 years is to be honest and forthright. You know, it makes things a lot easier. You know, first off, I lied, you know, to Arthur. Then I lied to Roger. You know, then I was sitting there lying to the prosecutors. You know, so, you know, thinking everything was going to blow up, I thought that, you know, I was going to have an opportunity to, you know, kind of just, you know.
Did you think you just going to have to pay a fine?
You know, being naive to the fact that, you know, I didn't think what I was doing was, you know,
that big of a deal.
That big of a deal.
Right.
You know, at the time.
Right.
You know, I just thought everything was going to get, you know, blown open. You know, so I just really thought that, you know, nobody would care, nobody would even pay attention to it, and, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. And, you know, I found out that, you know, not telling the truth and not being honest, you know, with the people who are trying to help you, including my lawyers, you know, came back to bite me in the end. And, you know, had I not done that, you know, who knows what happened. But that's a lesson that I had to learn. And it was a hard lesson, you know, and it was a 2-year lesson, you know, behind bars.
When you come from all the things that you have, you know, you got the money, you got the fame, you got the power. We've seen this happen with other athletes and other people that are celebrities. Was there anybody inside the Michael Vick camp that could have told you no? That could have said, hey man, the worst thing that could happen is you could lose it all. Could anybody have told you that? Because from the time you knew that you could throw a football, people treated you differently.
Yeah, I had people telling me that.
For real?
I had people telling me, you know, to stop doing what I was doing. You know, and, you know, I mean...
How far back does that go?
Very adamant about it, too, when they was telling me that.
That it was going to catch up?
maybe not that it was gonna catch up with me. That it was a chance that it was gonna happen.
Right.
Me being naive and me being, you know, hard-headed and thinking that, you know, because I was who I was, that, you know, they wasn't gonna come after me, or they didn't care about what we was doing because you didn't hear about other people being, you know, who was involved, you know, going to prison. You know, so that was the argument.
Right.
But that's me not understanding, you know, my position, you know, my role, you know, being a role model, you know, being an ambassador in the community, you know, not understanding what that really meant at the time, and just doing me and doing what I thought, you know, was keeping me happy. And, you know, like I say, that goes back to me not using, you know, the proper information and the proper influences in my life correctly. And that was people who was close to me.
Right. And
people that I failed to listen to. And yeah, you know, when it all went down and when it all happened, you know, I was the guy, you know, with my head hanging down to the floor, because, you know, it was just a sense of guilt and, you know, knowing that, you know, I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
We got this broadcasting on the stream right now on V103webmag.com. You can actually see Michael and myself in the studio. You talk about being an ambassador. You and I have done events where we were at Boys and Girls Clubs,
yeah,
speaking engagements. So I know how important it is to you, the position you had in the community. My son has been waiting 2 years to ask you a question.
Really?
2 years.
Okay.
Because as you being my favorite player and his favorite player.
What's up, baby?
Say hello, Kaden.
Hello. How you doing, Kaden?
You wrote your question down that you wanted to ask. You got it on your paper. You've been waiting a long time because we had to have this discussion.
Yes, sir. Get it off the chest.
Read it off your paper. Look at him and read your question. You've been waiting a long time to ask this question. What did you want to ask him?
Did you think about your fans when you were dogfighting and what you were doing?
That's a great question, Kaden. And you know, stand right there.
Listen to his answer. You've been waiting a long time to ask that.
To answer your question, Kaden, I really wasn't thinking about anybody but myself, you know, which is selfish. And, you know, I didn't care about anyone else's feelings. I only cared about mine. And I was doing what I thought was right and what I thought, you know, was keeping me happy at the time. And, you know, like I said, you know, just not doing the right things and not making the right decisions, you know, for the people who cared about me, the people who I cared about, and the people that I loved. So, you know, I made a bad decision and bad judgment, you know, at the most important time in my life.
Did it answer it?
Answer your question?
Answer your question? Does it answer it?
Yeah.
Did it say thank you?
There we go.
Thank
you. There you go. Good question. Great question. Keep it coming.
Because we had to, you know, I'm sure there are a lot of leagues and everybody who the kids still want to be you. You know, when you're going out and you're speaking to kids, what are you telling them about making the right decisions and not being influenced? Because you said people were telling you, Mike, this is not going to be a good idea, but you were still doing your own thing.
You know, the point I try to make is to, you know, listen to the people who love you and care about you. You know, they'll never tell you the wrong things because they only want to see you excel and succeed. And, you know, it's up to you to use that, you know, that information, you know, the right way and correct it. And, you know, had I done that, you know, man, you may not be sitting here right now.
Right.
Talking about my return to Atlanta. I may still be here. You know, so, you know, that's the message I try to get out. You know, that, you know, making proper judgment is probably the most important thing that you'll ever be able to have to do in your life. And it happens, you know, on a day-to-day basis, not just, you know, sporadically, you know, this week or next week or, you know, every other month. It's every day. Every day you have to make the right decisions and the right choices because, you know, I look at it like this, you know, it's 24 hours in a day. You can go 23 hours and 50 minutes doing the right thing. And the last 10 minutes you can slip up.
Right.
And that's all everybody's going to remember. And that's how everybody's going to look at you. And that's how stigma is going to be placed on you. So you can screw up and nobody's going to forget the other 2350.
Right.
You know, so it's important to do the right things at all costs. It's hard. It's hard to do. But it's a challenge, and only the people who are successful and make it far in life, do that.